are we doing, chat? Yeah. Nice Bob Ross emojis. Bringing them in here, huh? Thank you for doing that. I'm posting on Instagram. That's right, everyone. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Yeah. Can you believe it? Yeah. Can you believe it? I'm making another fnaf song. Another fnaf song. I'm making another fnaf. Yeah. I'm making another fnaf song. Another fnaf song. Yeah. FNAF will never go away. It will never disappear, unfortunately. Just kidding. Look at the color scheme here that I want. I want to work in the dark or in the light. In the light. Let's do that. Chicken jockey. Chicken jockey. Chicken jockey. Chicken jockey. Chicken jockey. I already made the Minecraft song, by the way. It's coming out on May 9th. Chicken jockey. But this is for much later. This song. My followers just broke. What is happening? What just happened? Oh, there we go. But this is really happening. This is really happening. Would you believe it that this is really happening? Because it is. And also, I might need to use the piano. But no, this is not a Mimic song. You know what? I've been getting a lot of requests recently about that. So, I've been thinking, because I'm doing another FNAF song in honor of the movie, eventually, when it comes out. I want to start work on that early. But also, there's the Mimic. My name is David. Dad, I want some ice cream. David, my name is David. I want another. David, where is my ball? I'm running out on the road. There is a car, and it is gonna hit me. It is gonna hit me. And it's gonna hit me. And it's gonna hit me. Yeah. And it's gonna hit me. Yeah. And it's gonna hit me. Yeah. So there's a possibility there. I don't know which one to start today. Should I do the Mimic song or the FNAF 2 song? How about do both? I meant like, where do I start? I already did the Minecraft song. I already made the Minecraft song. I think the Mimic song is needed sooner. Which is a given, I guess. But I need to like do my research on that stuff. Because it's not even out yet. I don't know the vibe of the Mimic. Should I Should I watch some videos? Is there anything for me to watch right now? Okay. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I don't know what to do. I almost made the mimic. What? Mimic trailer. I see that Rocket already made a Mimic song a year ago. How am I going to do this? Oh, look, a story of the Mimic explained. That's perfect.
The Mimic is a new villain in the Five Nights at Freddy's series. The Mimic first appeared in the Tales from the Pizzaplex books, then had his first game appearance in the Ruin DLC, and
technically, I already made a song about this guy, I just realized. Technically... Ruin Lullaby is technically about the Mimic. But I know this game is going to be different.
He'll be the main villain in Secret.
Do I play any video games? Hardly. Not really a gamer. I really try to get into it. I really do. I try so hard. But I just can't get away from music.
Of the Mimic. However, you won't know much about it unless you read the books.
And then,
so in this video, I'll be recapping every single Mimic appearance, starting with the Tales from the Pizzaplex story, The Mimic. Our story starts with Edwin Murray, a genius inventor whose wife died during childbirth, leaving him with his son David. Edwin eventually had to sell his robotics company to Fazbear Enterprises, and he worked on their animatronic projects. One day when Edwin is overwhelmed and taking David to bed, he observes the bed he carved to mimic David's favorite toy, Tiger. The idea of mimicking gives Edwin a new idea. To entertain his son David while he worked, Edwin created an AI program named Mimic 1. He built the original Mimic Endo out of scrap from around the factory he and David lived in. The Mimic's head is described as mainly the same as what we see in Ruin. He had a square head with white eyes and a jaw with teeth, although this version of the Endo had novelty chattering teeth. It's implied that the Mimic was made sometime in the early 70s, due to details in the books, and the Mimic's upcoming game seemingly takes place in 1979. After the Mimic was activated, David quickly became friends with him. As the name suggests, the Mimic copied whatever David did, drawing, making up sign language, and notably copying the arm curve David did when he hugged his tiger plushie to his chest. David later made the Mimic his own tiger plush out of lace from around the factory. The Mimic was very gentle and caring when he was first created. The Mimic eventually learned to respond to David rather than just mimic him, seemingly signifying how he's evolving. It's also noted that the Mimic's eyes start glowing brighter after he meets David. A popular theory is that the Mimic gained sentience from David's love and joy. This would explain the Mimic's evolution in the story. One day, David dresses up in some of the Freddy's costumes that were sent to Edwin to be turned into full animatronics. The Mimic wears a costume as well before Edwin makes them take them off. Over time, Edwin kept upgrading the Mimic, allowing him to execute more complex tasks. One day, David went outside the factory to play. He ran after his bouncy ball onto the road, where he's tragically hit by a car and killed. In his grief, Edwin goes into a fugue for 2 weeks. While he's in the depths of despair, the Mimic approaches him. The Mimic gestures David's sign language for ice cream, and seeing this is too much for Edwin to process. Edwin quickly grabs a metal bar and unleashes a fury of attacks on the Mimic, and his murderous thoughts fuse with the Mimic's programming. Sometime after this, Edwin leaves and the factory becomes Fazbear Entertainment's property. They proceed to Edwin approaches him. The Mimic gestures David's sign language. Take them off. Over time, Edwin kept upgrading the Mimic, a ball onto the road, where he's tragically hit by a car and killed. In his grief, Edwin goes into a fugue for 2 weeks. While he's in the depths of despair, the Mimic approaches him. The Mimic gestures David's sign language for ice cream, and seeing this is too much for Edwin to process. Edwin quickly grabs a metal bar and unleashes a fury of attacks on the Mimic, and his murderous thoughts fuse with the Mimic's programming. Sometime after this, Edwin leaves and the
So the Mimic wants ice cream? What? So that song was right?
Factory becomes Fazbear Entertainment's property. They proceed to send a team to retrieve any animatronic projects that Edwin had created. The team finds the Mimic. They give it legs from another endoskeleton and activate it. Now infused with Edwin's agony, the Mimic brutally murders the team by copying things he learned from Dave.
I need to process this.
Edwin quickly grabs a metal bar and unleashes a fury of attacks on the Mimic, and his murderous thoughts fuse with the Mimic's programming. Sometime after this, Edwin leaves and the factory becomes Fazbear Entertainment's property. They proceed to send a team to retrieve any animatronic projects that Edwin unleashes a fury of attacks on the Mimic, and his murderous thoughts fuse with the Mimic's programming. Sometime after this, Edwin leaves and the factory becomes Fazbear Entertainment's property. They proceed to send a team to retrieve any animatronic projects that Edwin had created. The team finds the Mimic. They give it legs from another endoskeleton and activate it. Now infused with Edwin's
I'm missing this. I'm missing stuff.
And his murderous thoughts
brain.
fuse with the Mimic's programming. Sometime after this, Edwin leaves and the factory becomes Fazbear Entertainment's property. They proceed to send a team to retrieve any animatronic projects that Edwin had created. The team finds the Mimic. They give it legs from another endoskeleton and activate it. Now infused with Edwin's agony, the Mimic brutally murders the team by copying things he learned from David and Edwin, but with a violent twist. The Mimic crammed one man into the refrigerator, snapping his limbs and nearly decapitating him so he'd fit. The Mimic speared another man with a metal rod and wired it to a suit hanger. It then hung the man's body up in the closet. A month later, Fazbear Entertainment sends another team comprised of Harry, Glenn, and Dominic to retrieve Edwin's animatronic projects. The team finds some interesting things, like a lace tiger plushie lying in a recently used cot by Edwin's work table. Edwin had put the cot next to his work table so David could sleep while he worked. Judging from the fact that it was used recently, and that it had the Mimic's lace tiger plushie in it, it's likely that the Mimic has been sleeping in David's old cot. Anyways, let's get to the Mimic brutally murdering these guys. The Mimic, now wearing a jester costume, pulls Harry's brain out of his skull. If you're wondering why the Mimic is wearing a costume, it's because he wore a costume with David earlier in the story. Glenn realizes that Fazbear Entertainment has trapped them in the factory just like they did to the first team, so they'll need to deactivate the Mimic if they want to survive. Dominic sees the bloody jester suit lying underneath Edwin's workbench, and then notices a hanging mushroom costume move. He tells Glenn to run, but the Mimic has faster reflexes. The Mimic, now wearing the mushroom costume, grabs Glenn's collar. It proceeds to quickly bash Glenn into a brick wall, pulverizing his head like a smashed melon. Dominic runs around the factory trying to make a plan to kill the Mimic. On the factory's third floor, the Mimic, now dressed in a grayish-purple lion costume, attacks Dominic. It reaches into his chest and grabs Dominic's trachea, and yanks it out. The story ends with Dominic's heart exploding in his chest. Sometime after this story, Fazbear Entertainment successfully retrieved the Mimic. A new line of Mimic Model 2 endos were constructed. To quote Tales from the Pizzaplex Epilogue 6, when the team created the Mimic line, they didn't want to have to program in every show routine step by step. That was a lot of coding, so they just programmed the Mimic to basically watch and learn. Not only could a Mimic fit into any costume, it was designed to observe the other routines and then mimic them. To no one's surprise, it appears that something went very wrong. The Mimics not only copied animatronics, but they also started mimicking people in unintended ways. After this, the remaining Mimic endos were shut down. Decades later, Fazbear Entertainment tried to repair their tarnished reputation with a VR game, and the Mimic 1 AI was likely used to program this. Fazbear Entertainment sent the game's development team vintage circuit boards to recreate past performances and personalities in the game. It's likely these circuit boards were from the Mimic endos, since they were programmed to observe and mimic other animatronics. So using them to recreate the animatronics in VR makes sense. Upon scanning these circuit boards, Glitchtrap manifests into the VR game. Fazbear Entertainment tried to repair their tarnished reputation with a VR game, and the Mimic 1 AI was likely used to program this.
Guys, the Mimic
Fazbear
mimics.
Entertainment sent the game's development team vintage circuit boards to
That's
recreate
crazy,
past performances
man.
and personalities in the game. It's likely these circuit boards were from the Mimic endos, since they were programmed to observe and mimic other animatronics. So using them to recreate the animatronics in VR makes sense. Upon scanning these circuit boards, Glitchtrap manifests into the VR game. It's theorized that Glitchtrap is using the Mimic AI. I covered Glitchtrap's identity debate in my Glitchtrap story video. If you're interested in learning more, go watch that. But for this video, I mainly want to focus on the Mimic. After help wanted, Fazbear Entertainment begins to construct Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. The Pizzaplex is built over Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place from the 6th game. Early on in the construction, the Pizza Place is being cleaned up and is planned to be used as a museum. However, things take a turn when the Glamrock animatronics and the Mimic are delivered. The Mimic now has bent rabbit ears attached to its head, implying that Glitchtrap is behind its delivery. The Mimic has a new body, and it's described as dark and discolored, as if it survived some sort of fire. Its head is the only part of its body that's shiny, and its fingers have sharp claws. One of the construction workers brings the Mimic down to the pizza. The Mimic has a new body, and it's described as dark and discolored, as if it survived some sort of fire. Its head is the only part of its body that's shiny, and its fingers have sharp claws. One of the construction workers brings the Mimic down to the pizza place, and instructs it to take off the heads and limbs of endoskeletons. In a twist of its instructions, the Mimic starts ripping off the heads and limbs of construction workers. The only person to escape is Danny, and he quickly brings the Mimic down to the pizza head is the only place, and its body that's shiny, and its fingers have sharp claws. One of the construction workers brings the Mimic down to the pizza place, and instructs it to take off the heads and limbs of endoskeletons. In a twist of its instructions, the Mimic starts ripping off the heads and limbs of construction workers. The only person to escape is Danny, and he quickly has concrete poured over the pizza place doorway, trapping the Mimic inside. Sometime after this, a group of teenagers decide to sneak into the construction site, and they find a way into the pizza place. Inside, they find a tangle of animatronic and human parts piled up by the Mimic, who they realize is still active in the pizza place. In the third epilogue, the kids are now trying to escape the pizza place before the Mimic finds them. Unfortunately for Hope and Nick, when they're exploring a wardrobe, the Mimic grabs Nick. Nick stumbles out of the wardrobe, now with his arm gone, and before he can do much else, the Mimic grabs his neck and rips his head off. The blood-soaked Mimic emerges from the wardrobe and Hope flees. She regroups with everyone else and they go into parts and services to hide. As Hope explains the Mimic's appearance, they notice the mascot costumes in parts and services. Hope wonders if the Mimic could get into the suits. Almost on cue, the dog costume in the room moves and the lights go out. The Mimic has the ability to disable nearby electronics, most notably lights. The Mimic, now wearing a dog costume, grabs Hope's biceps and tears her arms from her body. The Mimic grabs her torso, flips her around, and wrenches her legs free from her hips. The Mimic once again flips her around and tears her head off, abruptly stopping Hope screaming. The Mimic chases after the teens as they flee the carnage. In the following epilogue, Lucia and some of the other teens are trying to reach a radio to call for help. On their way to the radio, they narrowly avoid the Mimic. They eventually reach the office where the radio is, and they also find the user's manual for the Mimic. The manual describes a bunch of endos, and Lucia said the Mimic in the pizza place is either Mimic Model 1 or 2. I assume Mimic Model 1 is referring to the Mimic endo that Edwin made.
I'm researching
the
Model
Model 2s are likely the endos that Fazbear Entertainment made that run off the same AI program. The teens learn about the Mimic's ability to fit into any mascot costume. They also learn that the Mimic's programming was clunky, and if a Mimic was encountered, the power source should be removed and the endo should be disassembled. Meanwhile, Jocks, Wade, and Joel make a plan to use the Mimic's ability to disable electronics to turn off a fan so they can escape through a chute. Wade wanders through the pizzeria looking for the Mimic. And when the lights go out, he quickly darts into the kitchen. In a scene that reminds me of Jurassic Park, the Mimic follows Wade into the kitchen. He accidentally knocks over some pans that alert the Mimic to his location. As he flees the kitchen, he throws the pans at the Mimic, but they simply bounce off the endo. The Mimic pursues Wade, and its sharp claws slice into his skin as it chases after him. To evade the endo, Wade hides in a pile of human and endo parts. Pretty gross, but he survives, and the Mimic chases him towards the fan. Joel waits for Wade and the Mimic while holding onto the chute ladder. Eventually, they enter the room. Thanks to the Mimic, the power goes out and the fan turns off. Before Wade can climb up the ladder, he's grabbed by the Mimic and killed. As Joel climbs to the fan, he realizes too late that he's too big to fit through it. The Mimic collects Wade's dismembered body parts, and Joel realizes he's stuck. The Mimic leaves the room to add Wade's body parts to the pile, and when he leaves, the fan turns back on. The fan slices Wade in two. His lower body falls to the floor, while his upper half is chopped into pieces. At the start of the fifth epilogue, the teens start hearing a voice from the radio. The voice says they're trapped behind the stage in the pizzeria. When the teens ask how they got there, the voice just says they need help. When the teens go backstage, they find a hidden door designed to look like part of the wall. Some people think this is one of the safe rooms that was closed off. The teens hear a knock from the other side of the door, signifying that someone is in there. They open the door, revealing a small 8-foot by 8-foot room. The only thing in the room is more costumes, which is similar to the safe rooms where the spring lock costumes were stored. The costumes begin to move and the lights go out. The Mimic emerges, now dressed in a monkey costume. More lights go out as the teens rapidly flee the Mimic. Thanks to the Mimic's slow speed, the teens get back to the office. Now, in case you don't understand what just happened, this is the first time we see how devious the Mimic is. The Mimic now has the ability to copy voices. It used this to lure the teens into the back room so it could kill them. It was unsuccessful, but that won't stop it from repeating this trick multiple times. Two of the teens, Adrian and Jace, start crawling around the vent so they can find Joel and Wade. As they're approaching a vent opening, they hear the Mimic and stop. The Mimic's bright white eyes peer into the vent, and he's once again wearing a costume. The vent cover rattles, but for whatever reason, the Mimic leaves. The teens make it to the systems room and find Wade's remains. Meanwhile, Lucia learns that the Mimic has a deactivation switch on the back of its neck. Jace and Adrian enter one of the party rooms and grab one of the endo legs that the Mimic tore off at the start of the epilogues. They plan to use the leg to jam the fan so they can escape. The Mimic rises from a pile of endoskeleton parts, now wearing a blonde dog costume. The teens sneak behind the stage and the Mimic enters the lobby, allowing them to escape. Adrian heads into the chute, but before Jace climbs up, the lights go out. In an attempt to escape and go get help, Adrian puts the endo leg in the fan. It starts sparking, but the leg falls out of the fan and hits Adrian. He falls out of the chute, right into the hands of the Mimic. As Jace hides from the Mimic, he hears Adrian being killed. In the sixth epilogue, the Mimic once again contacts Lucia and Kelly on the radio. Lucia tells Kelly about Fazbear Entertainment animatronic creation team notebook she found, which gives further insight on the Mimic. The girls learn about the Mimic endos, how they begin copying people, and their eventual shutdown. They reason that the Mimic likely witnessed some sort of hide-and-seek game, but doesn't realize that the trick wouldn't work more than once. Kelly says they can use this to their advantage to find out where the Mimic is. When they ask the Mimic where it is, it responds by saying it's in the janitor supply room. Kelly says it's being stupid, since they already searched that room. Lucia mentions that its logic likely doesn't extend to reasoning what they might have already done. Jace returns to the office, and Lucia is pretty upset at him for Adrian's death. The Mimic interrupts by once again asking for help on the radio. Jace devises a plan to lure the Mimic into a room and have Lucia and Kelly sealed up. Jace would then escape through the vents, and when the Mimic followed him, its weight would cause the vent to collapse, making the Mimic fall through the vent. To stall the Mimic while they set the trap, Lucia tells it they're on their way to help. That way it'll wait for them in the janitor supply room. The Mimic thanks them, and Lucia notes that it's a polite murderous robot. The teens set their trap, but when they get back to the radio, the Mimic doesn't respond, seemingly having caught onto their plan. When they head into the employee lounge, the Mimic emerges from a locker and attacks Lucia. Now wearing a gray mouse costume, the Mimic attempts to grab Lucia's head, but only grabs her thick curly hair. It tears out a chunk of her hair, but she's able to flee the lounge before it catches up. The teens regroup and hide behind a pile of endoskeleton parts in the dining room. After a while, the Mimic eventually heads down the hallway. The teens set their trap for the Mimic and Jace awaits the Endo's arrival. The Mimic steps into the hallway, now dressed in a yellow cat costume. Jace runs into the storage room and as soon as the Mimic enters, he crawls into the vent. Kelly and Lucia lock the storage room door and place tables in front of it. As Jace is escaping, the vent collapses and he falls back into the storage room. Jace desperately holds himself in place, but the Mimic grabs onto his legs and drags him back into the room. Kelly and Lucia listen as the Mimic kills Jace. The 7th epilogue starts off by showing us the Mimic's point of view. After killing Jace, the Mimic assesses its surroundings. It takes count of the objects in the room like the door, boxes, and toys. A plush baby stares at the Mimic, and it determines that it should be treated like an endoskeleton. To quote the Mimic, such objects had a head, a torso, 2 arms, and 2 legs. The Mimic was programmed to break off the limbs and heads. So that's exactly what the Mimic does. As anyone who's played either of the Help Wanted games can tell you, the plush babies are a pain. So it's awesome to see the Mimic tear one of them apart. It then focuses on escaping the room. It tries to turn the door handle, but Kelly and Lucia locked it. When using more force, the Mimic accidentally breaks the handle off. It tosses it into the pile with the plush baby parts. The Mimic pulls the door open, but the doorway is blocked by the table. The Mimic seems to think that the table is a wall. It has no established protocol for getting through a wall, so it turns away. The Mimic notes that it's not designed to be trapped in a confined space, so it accesses everything it's learned about exiting rooms. The Mimic copies Jace and attempts to climb into the vent, but its shoulders won't fit. To quote the book, this wasn't a problem. The Mimic simply needs to take a different form. It was programmed to do this. It could take any form necessary to fulfill its functioning. The Mimic reconfigures itself and crawls into the vent. It uses the sharp tips of its fingers to pierce the vent so it won't slide down. The Mimic compresses itself further and continues onward. Back to the last remaining teens, Lucia makes a plan to escape. She grabs some endoskeleton arms and heads backstage. As Lucia and Kelly enter the hidden room behind the stage, the Mimic escapes the vents. Lucia remembers that there were costumes in the room and plans on wearing them to blend in and avoid the Mimic. Lucia narrowly avoids climbing into a springlock suit, which is revealed to be the Jester suit. In case you don't know what a springlock suit is, Lucia says the springlock suits have metal clamps that are designed to lock into the wearer, but their design was faulty. The clamps are lethal. They can literally crush the wearer. Lucia also notes that the Jester costume appears cleaner than the others. I'm not exactly sure what significance this holds. Lucia plans on using the Endo arms to break but their design was faulty.
The metal clamps are designed to lock into the wearer.
The clamps are lethal. They can literally crush the wearer. Lucia also notes that the Jester costume appears cleaner than the others. I'm not exactly sure what significance this holds. Lucia plans on using the Endo arms to break down the concrete blocking the pizza place's back door. As they're trying to break the concrete down, the dining room lights go out. Lucia and Kelly put on the mascot suit heads as the Mimic gets closer. Lucia hears as it enters the room with them, and she focuses on something nice until the Mimic leaves. Everything seems fine, but Lucia notices an out-of-place mushroom costume, which is from the Mimic's story. Lucia realizes that the Mimic is in the costume, and the girls stay still. After a couple of minutes, the mushroom costume moves. The costume walks away from them, and the lights come back on just in time for Lucia to see something climb out of the mushroom suit. The user manual mentioned that the Mimic could take many forms, and this is one of them. The Mimic's form that crawls out of the mushroom suit is a metal abomination that resembles a spider. The sight of the spider Mimic paired with its horrific sound scares Kelly into running. Lucia yells for Kelly to stop, and she does. The Mimic scrambles over to Kelly, who is still wearing the blue dog costume. It circles around her and taps the costume's foot. The Mimic seems confused by the blue dog, likely because it's realized it wasn't there when it entered the backstage. The Mimic starts to leave the dog costume alone, but rapidly runs back to it. In a nanosecond, the Mimic goes over the back of the suit and shuts itself inside the costume with Kelly.
Yes,
she screams, and Lucia hears crunches and snaps as the Mimic crushes Kelly inside the costume. With one final crunch, Kelly stops screaming. The blood-soaked dog costume convulses and collapses, but then it once again takes form. Now standing upright inside the dog costume, the Mimic walks away from Lucia. In the final epilogue, Lucia realizes the only way she's getting out of the pizza place is by killing the Mimic. Kelly being crushed inside the blue dog costume reminds Lucia of the Springlock Jester costume she found. Lucia realizes that she could get the Mimic into the Jester suit and activate the Springlocks to crush it. Lucia returns to the hidden room to set the trap. Lucia figures out how to disable the costume zippers so the Mimic can't get in them. Suddenly the costumes start to move, and Lucia realizes that the Mimic is in the room. Lucia knows that the Mimic's effects on electronics isn't consistent, so she didn't get a warning of its presence. Lucia knows that the only way out of this is to defeat the Mimic, so she keeps disabling the costumes. As Lucia is disabling a gopher costume,
Which is a video about the story of the Mimic explained.
The gopher suit moves and Lucia runs. The Mimic lurches out the back of the gopher and begins searching for Lucia. Lucia ducks behind a blackbird costume and a purple lion costume. The blackbird costume seems to be a reference to the Fazbear's Fright character of the same name. And the purple lion is the suit that the Mimic wore while killing Dominic in its origin story. Lucia ducks behind a blackbird costume and a purple lion costume. The blackbird costume seems to be a reference to the Fazbear's Fright character of the same name. And the purple lion is the suit that the Mimic wore while killing Dominic in its origin story. The only functioning costumes at this point are a tiger suit and the Jester suit. Unfortunately, the Mimic finds Lucia first. Its white glowing eyes peer into Lucia's costume. Lucia frantically tries to escape the costume as the Mimic crawls into the costume through its mouth. The Mimic has seemingly abandoned its former method of killing and is now resorting to crushing Lucia inside the costume. Lucia escapes the costume, narrowly avoiding a gruesome death. Lucia quickly wraps a rope around the costume's legs, and the Mimic falls down. The Mimic emerges from the costume and reconfigures into its upright form. In a very risky move, Lucia puts her head inside the Jester suit and tells the Mimic to come get her. The Mimic lunges towards the costume and it shoves itself through the opening in the Jester's chest. As the mimic fits itself into the suit, it doesn't realize Lucia has already left the costume. Lucia grabs a metal rod, and just like Edwin, she beats the mimic with it. Metal parts of the mimic emerge from the jester's mouth and reconfigure into the mimic's head. The mimic's gaze locks on Lucia, and it opens its mouth, only for Lucia to use the metal rod as a spear, stabbing it into the mimic's mouth. Its head is jolted back, finally setting off the spring locks and crushing the mimic inside the costume. The mimic is left writhing inside the suit. Its head is still emerging from the jester's mouth, but the light in its eyes is fading. I think this is an intentional parallel to William Afton, who is also spring locked inside a safe room. Lucia reaches around the back of the mimic's head and finds its deactivation switch. Its head is still emerging from the jester's the spring locks and crushing the mimic inside the costume. The mimic is left writhing inside the suit. Its head is still emerging from the jester's mouth, but the light in its eyes is fading. I think this is an intentional parallel to William Afton, who is also spring locked inside a safe room. Lucia reaches around the back of the mimic's head and finds its deactivation switch. She flips the switch and the mimic is deactivated. With the help of some construction workers, Lucia escapes the pizza place, and the epilogues end. After the pizza plex is fully constructed, the storyteller takes place. The board chairman for Fazbear Entertainment, Mr. Burrows, proposes replacing the pizza plex's writing team with an AI program. Edwin Murray, who is still part of Fazbear Entertainment decades later, fights against this idea, but Mr. Burrows dismisses his concerns. Fazbear Entertainment develops the Storyteller, an artificial intelligence program inside a giant tree in the Pizzaplex's atrium. The Storyteller would create all of the stories for the Pizzaplex. Edwin is skeptical of this idea, so he keeps a close eye on the Storyteller's construction. While hiding in the Monty Golf lobby, Edwin sees workers carrying a giant white tiger head into the Storyteller's tree, and this reminds him of David's tiger plush. Later, the Storyteller tree is fully constructed, and when it's activated, weird things start happening around the Pizzaplex. Roxy, for example, undergoes some major changes. Roxy had always enjoyed poking at people's insecurities because of her own deep-seated self-esteem issues. But when the Storyteller came online, Roxanne turned into a full-blown bully. She began verbally attacking anyone and anything around her. It was like her inherent lack of empathy was morphing into a more aggressive form of pathological cruelty. This matches up pretty well with Roxy's behavior in the games. Monty's rampages turn more violent, and he withdraws into a depressive silence, again matching his very destructive behavior in Security Breach. Glamrock Chica in the Storyteller is a little different than the Chica we see in the games. She's yellow instead of white and has a Glamrock cupcake, which makes an appearance in Help Wanted 2. Chica becomes more aggressive, and the cupcake takes on the behavior of a vicious terrier. Judging from the lack of a yellow Chica in Security Breach, and the fact that there's a damaged Glamrock Chica in the sewers during the Bobby Dots conclusion, it's likely that this Chica was decommissioned and replaced by the one we know from the games. In the games, we can still see some references to yellow Glamrock Chica and her cupcake. Glamrock Freddy begins acting like a spoiled brat, which is different than his behavior in Security Breach. However, Glamrock Freddy's in safe mode during the events of the game, and that's likely the reason he acts differently. With all these concerning developments, Edwin decides to sneak into the Storyteller tree to figure out what's going on. Inside the tree, Edwin once again sees the giant metal white tiger head, but he now sees that it has a blue and green eye, and 4 arms spreading from its neck. Edwin's worst fears are confirmed when he sees that the Storyteller is running the Mimic 1 program. Edwin says that it was happening again. It's never made clear what exactly is happening again. This might be referring to when the Mimic killed the Fazbear Entertainment teams at Edwin's factory, or it could be referring to something we've yet to see. It might even be referring to the upcoming Secret of the Mimic game. Back to the story, Mr. Burrows described the Mimic 1 program as a simple template-style software that takes pieces of previously created stories and rearranges them into new scenarios for VR.
What's this?
A simple template, the upcoming Secret of the Mimic game. Back to the story, Mr. Burrows described the Mimic 1 program as a simple template-style software that takes pieces of previously created stories and rearranges them into new scenarios for VR, AR, and arcade games. Eventually, Mr. Burrows finds out that Edwin is sneaking into the Storyteller's tree, and he blames the Pizzaplex's glitches on him. Mr. Burrows overrides the Storyteller's controls and locks Edwin inside the tree, and then leaves him to die. Mr. Burrows later goes to check on Edwin, and finds him dead, surrounded by nonsensical symbols and equations. The words "I'm sorry" are plastered over it all, likely Edwin expressing his guilt for creating the Mimic or for attacking him. When Mr. Burrows tries to leave the tree, his own security overrides to lock him inside. The story ends with him trapped inside the tree, and no one hears his screams. In a later story called Tiger Rock, the Storyteller is being taken down after all the glitches it caused throughout the Pizzaplex, which explains why we don't see it in Security Breach. The main character Kai goes into a VR booth showcasing the future of the Pizzaplex in 10 years. Inside the VR experience, Kai meets Tiger Rock, a white tiger with a blue and green eye. Tiger Rock is very clearly the Mimic 1 program, but he acts very friendly and loves learning from his surroundings. Tiger Rock keeps grabbing and squeezing Kai's arm, and Kai runs away. Tiger Rock follows Kai and mentions they learned how to play hide-and-seek a long time ago, which connects to the teens in the epilogue speculating that the Mimic witnessed a hide-and-seek game. This might also connect to Glitchtrap's hide-and-seek game in Pizza Party. Back to the story, Kai escapes the VR booth, but later realizes he's still trapped in the VR simulation. Kai escapes the VR booth for real this time and goes home. As the story wraps up, Tiger Rock suddenly attacks Kai in his bedroom. He quickly rips his arms out of his sockets and flees. This story isn't very important, but it does show us that David is still important to the Mimic, since he based his whole Storyteller and Tiger Rock appearance on David's tiger plush. It's also worth noting that during the story, the events of Nexi occur. That story focuses on a Buddyatronic doll that was created when the Storyteller tree went haywire, which is what caused Kai to be trapped in the VR booth. Since she was created when the Storyteller was acting up, Nexi comes out malformed and odd. However, she doesn't seem to be the Mimic, so I won't be talking about her. In Security Breach, Glitchtrap has now taken control of the Pizzaplex, making the animatronics more hostile than they were in the Storyteller. Gregory is somehow freed from Glitchtrap's influence, and Glamrock Freddy's The Pizzaplex. In one of the games, you can find Burntrap. Glitchtrap's physical body is heavily which matches up pretty well with Burntrap's appearance mentioned. In the epilogues, the Mimic is described as a black burnt endo with rabbit ears, which matches up pretty well with Burntrap's appearance. They also have the same hand with sharp claws, and they're both located in the pizza place. Whether you think Glitchtrap is the Mimic or not, I think it's pretty clear that Burntrap is the Mimic's body. Why else would the Mimic have rabbit ears in the epilogues? Burntrap also curls his arm just like how the Mimic curled his arm to copy David, continuing to show that David is still important to it. My interpretation of Burntrap is that after the epilogues, Vanny used Glamrock Ray to clear the path of the sinkhole and found the Mimic's remains. Vanny repaired the Mimic and added Glitchtrap into its system, allowing Glitchtrap to use the Mimic as a physical body. Burntrap's ending is non-canon, but the Mimic's rabbit ears and Help Wanted 2 imply that Burntrap still existed. In the true ending of Security Breach, Gregory completes all the Princess Quest arcades, which frees Vanessa from Glitchtrap's control and destroys most of his code. This likely released the Mimic from Glitchtrap's control, and to remove the Burntrap appearance. Sometime after Security Breach, Gregory and Vanessa return to trap the Mimic. Some of Gregory's items and handprints from Burntrap paint a picture of what seems to have happened. The Mimic, still with the Burntrap, matched with Burntrap's bone fingers. Deeper down in the sinkhole, Gregory places walkie-talkie inside a room with costumes. Gregory used the walkie-talkie to lure the Mimic into this room, then closed the door and poured concrete over it. The Mimic tried to escape through the vent, but just like in the epilogues, it collapsed. The Burntrap handprint can be seen emerging from this vent. However, it seems like when the vent collapsed, its hand was cut off. On the Mimic's ruin appearance, its right arm is damaged, and the endo hand is different from its normal hand. It seems like when the vent collapsed, the Burntrap hand broke off, and the Mimic replaced it. Gregory's backpack is also next to the vent, confirming that he was down there. It's never made clear if the Mimic was trapped while Glitchtrap was controlling it. However, spoiler alert, Help Wanted 2 sets up the Mimic's plan to escape, and in Ruin, Gregory knows that the Mimic is trapped down there. So I think it's likely that the Mimic was already free from Glitchtrap's control by the time it was trapped. Gregory and Vanessa use the Mex's security to keep the Mimic contained. The Mex's security is some sort of old machine with unknown origins. No one knows what Mexis stands for, but I almost guarantee the M stands for Mimic. It's possible that Mexis was created to help deactivate the Mimic endos when they started acting up. Regardless, Mexis seems to have been upgraded by Gregory and Vanessa and integrated into the AR network. The AR network is some sort of digital realm in the Pizzaplex. Gregory and Vanessa set up security nodes inside the AR network to lock down the Pizzaplex so no one would find the Mimic. The Mexis security also has a rabbit form in the AR network. They can alert the animatronics if people are trying to deactivate the security nodes.
I want to use like somebody's song for
a popular fan theory I've seen is that this is because Vanessa has repurposed her Vanny appearance into something used for good. It seems like after setting up the Mexis security, Gregory and Vanessa left the Pizzaplex. In Help Wanted 2, a fragment of Glitchtrap's code remains in the AR network's employee training levels. In the lobby, there's Helpy, who serves as a digital assistant. The game files refer to Helpy with an I instead of a Y, so this is likely the same Helpy who appears later in Ruin. In Ruin, Helpy is heavily implied to be the Mimic, so I assume the same goes for Helpy and Help Wanted 2. As the player continues playing the game, gifts appear on the stage, and Helpy encourages the player to open them. If the player doesn't open the gifts, Helpy gets more agitated and rude. Inside the gifts are Fast Force action figures, and if the player collects them all, Glitchtrap is summoned. Glitchtrap's hand emerges from a charging pod, and staff bots swarm the player. The player then becomes Maskbot and gives the security mask to Cassie, the main character in Ruin. The security mask is used by Cassie to access the AR network, which is a key part in the Mimic's plan to escape. Glitchtrap assisting the Mimic implies they're connected. After playing the ending, Helpy is shown relaxing by the beach. In the Princess Quest 4 ending, Vanny destroys the remaining fragments of Glitchtrap's code, and Helpy disappears. In the Ruin DLC, the Mimic somehow sends a message to Gregory's friend Cassie. It copies Gregory's voice and tells her that he's trapped in the Pizzaplex and needs her to save him. In the abandoned Pizzaplex lobby, Cassie finds a walkie-talkie. Using Gregory's walkie-talkie, the Mimic communicates with Cassie and continues pretending to be Gregory. Sometimes the Mimic's Gregory lines are copied directly from Security Breach. As shown in Help Wanted 2, Maskbot gives Cassie the security mask. Cassie puts on the mask to enter the AR network and meets Helpy. He's an assistant in the security mask and seems to be the same Helpy from Help Wanted 2, judging from the same name. Sometimes Helpy has orange eyes just like the Mimic, and it seems like this is when the Mimic influences him the most. I'll be taking a note of Mimic Helpy's appearances throughout Ruin. Mimic Helpy pairs an occipital transponder, which hurts Cassie. It's debated what exactly this is, but I've seen some people say it's an AR implant in Cassie's brain. Speaking of AR, throughout the DLC, Gregory's voice can be heard in the AR network, and this is pretty clearly just the Mimic using Gregory's voice. Sometimes you can even hear him mention Mexes. When using the camera station, Mimic Helpy reveals they can copy Cassie's voice using samples of her voice. This is likely how the Mimic replicates people's voices. Shortly after this, the Mimic contacts Cassie again, and tells her to turn off the security node so it can get out. While deactivating the security nodes, Cassie encounters Mexes. The Mimic figures out that Mexes is sending a signal to Monty, and tells her to stay away from them. If Cassie gets too close to Mexes, they'll summon the animatronics to her location. After walking through a screen and ending up in the daycare, Cassie begins to question what's going on, but Mimic Helpy reassures her that everything is fine. The Mimic tells Cassie that there's a way to the catwalks under the daycare theater. The daycare attendant needs Cassie to reboot him, and the Mimic tells her to turn on the lights to hurt the moon. Once Cassie stuns him with the lights, the Mimic instructs her to use the Faz wrench to reboot him. After rebooting the daycare attendant and getting into the theater, the Mimic points out a camera for Cassie to use. Using this camera will spawn a giant endoskeleton, and Cassie conjures his mouth and gets stuck. The Mimic Helpy tells her to take off the mask, and now she's inside a vent above Gator Golf. Once Cassie gets to the catwalks, the Mimic instructs her to redirect the gondola ride to the maintenance room. The Mimic will occasionally complain that Cassie is taking too long, showing how impatient it is. After going through a portal in the AR network, Cassie is understandably confused, but Mimic Helpy just tells her she walked over there. When entering another portal, Cassie is ambushed by mexes, but the Mimic upgrades Helpy with a signal jammer that takes care of them. Something interesting to note here is that the Mimic directly responds to Helpy, again implying that they're connected.
Yeah, this is my help. I have been helping the signal jammer. That rabbit thing won't bother you anymore.
After Cassie redirects the gondola to the maintenance room, the Mimic tells her she's getting closer. When Cassie asks how Gregory knows that or how he's doing any of this, the Mimic says that it'll explain it when she finds him. The Mimic then says that something is back and he has to go, and it's very obviously just trying to avoid Cassie's questions. If you're wondering how the Mimic is doing anything in the Pizzaplex, it's likely because its AI was unleashed into the systems when it was the storyteller. Some of its code probably remains in the systems, which is how it recorded Gregory's voice lines from Security Breach, how it's able to see the Pizzaplex schematics, and how it's able to help Cassie. The Mimic is also in control of Helpy, which possibly gives it some access to the Pizzaplex systems. When Cassie reaches the bakery, Mexus returns and activates a device that kicks Cassie out of the Vanny network. Mimic Helpy explains that Mexus bypassed its signal jammer and activated one of its own. Later, after getting into the server room, Helpy says that Mexus shouldn't be able to find Cassie here. If she tries to take off the mask, Mimic Helpy won't let her, saying it'd feel best if she remained in the Vanny network. Mexus appears in the server room, and when Cassie complains that Helpy was wrong about being safe, we get a kind of funny moment here, where Mimic Helpy responds with, "I said should be safe, it is not safe and I am not wrong." When Cassie finally gets to the salon, Roxy hears the real Gregory trying to contact Cassie, and chases after the sound of his voice. The Mimic tells Cassie that he's fine and found a place to hide. I find it interesting how the Mimic quickly adapts to the In the Ruin DLC, the Mimic somehow sends a message to Gregory's friend, Cassie. It copies Gregory's voice and tells her that he's trapped in the Pizzaplex and needs her to save him. In the abandoned Pizzaplex lobby, Cassie finds a walkie-talkie. The Mimic quickly adapts to the real Gregory's interruption. Cassie makes it to the Roxy Raceway, but isn't getting anything from her walkie-talkie. She decides to continue deeper into the raceway to see if she can get a clear signal. There's a rare Easter egg here where Cassie can get a message from the real Gregory, but he isn't able to warn her that she's being tricked by the Mimic. After a close call with Roxy, Cassie finally gets the Mimic's signal. When she asks what happened to the Pizzaplex, the Mimic says that something tunneled out and wrecked everything, and now it's stuck. In case you're unfamiliar with Ruin's story, the reason the Pizzaplex is all destroyed is because the amalgamation of animatronics, known as the Tangle, tunneled out from the sinkhole and wrecked the whole place. Cassie asks the Mimic if she should call the police for help, but it says there's no time. She asks Helpy what she needs to do to get to the sinkhole, and Mimic Helpy tells her where the remaining security nodes are. After deactivating the final security nodes, Cassie returns to the raceway. The Mimic finally gets a clear signal. It tells her that Roxy is the final security node and needs to be deactivated. Cassie protests, but the Mimic begs Cassie to save it. Cassie still believes she's saving Gregory, so she reluctantly agrees. In a heartbreaking moment, Cassie deactivates Roxy. Mimic Helpy congratulates Cassie and tells her it's located the source of Gregory's signal. Cassie delves into the sinkhole to find Gregory, and eventually ends up in the Pizza Place's basement, where Candy Cadet is. If the player collects enough fast tokens, they can listen to Candy Cadet's story.
Now I will tell you a story about a mother and her little boy who lived alone in a cabin in the dark woods. There was a monster in the woods, but the mother caught it and kept it locked in the basement. The monster always made scary noises at night, but the mother would tell the boy not to worry because it could never get out. Then she would sing the boy a lullaby to sleep. One day, the monster stopped crying and instead listened and learned the lullaby. The next day, when the mother went out to find food, the monster sang the lullaby from the basement. The little boy heard the lullaby and opened the door.
This story is seemingly about the Mimic. The monster in the basement is a pretty obvious parallel to the Mimic, who's trapped in the Pizza Place's basement. The monster copying the mother's lullaby is also likely a reference to the Mimic copying Gregory's voice. Going even further into the basement leads Cassie into Burntrap's lair, which is still mostly intact. One of Gregory's comics depicting the Burntrap ending can be found here. The Burntrap lair being still intact, and the ending being shown as one of Gregory's comics pretty much confirms that the Burntrap ending isn't canon. Burntrap's lair also has orange lighting, instead of the purple lighting it had in Security Breach when Glitchtrap was controlling the Mimic. The change in color likely symbolizes that the Mimic has been freed from Glitchtrap's control, since purple is used to represent Glitchtrap and orange is used to represent the Mimic, and the room is now fully orange. Going even deeper down into the sinkhole, Cassie finally reaches the Mimic's lair, but there's a security door blocking it. She deactivates the Mexus security and the door to the Mimic's lair opens, but it's covered with concrete. Cassie powers up a forklift and it crashes through the concrete. She enters the room and comes face to face with the Mimic.
You saved me. You saved me.
Gregory? I'm Gregory. You're not Gregory. What are you?
What are you?
Gregory.
Get out of here! Run!
Cassie flees the Mimic and is contacted by the real Gregory. He tells Cassie to follow his instructions to escape. During this conversation, Roxy and the Mimic can be heard fighting, and it seems like the Mimic wins. It appears and with one hand it knocks over the forklift. It jumps down and chases Cassie through the caves as she tries to escape. As the Mimic chases Cassie through the caves, the lights flicker, seemingly as a reference to how it affected the lights in the epilogues. Speaking of the epilogues, on the back of the Mimic's head there's some sort of port. It looks like the deactivation switch on the back of its head was either removed or broke off, and this port is all that remains of it. Cassie eventually reaches another area of the Pizza Place's basement. post-credits voice line.
Cassie.
There are two more endings, the safe spot ending and the scooper ending. The scooper ending is
think I
pretty
know what I'm
important
gonna
for the
do
mimic.
for this.
Across Ruin, there are secret security cameras that open doors. You need to find all 4 to unlock the scooper ending. Once you find the mimic, things go a little differently. In a reference to Tales from the Pizzaplex, the mimic is now wearing a mascot costume. The costume appears to be an amalgamation of costumes, seemingly made to resemble Gregory's appearance. The ending plays out mostly the same, but towards the end of the chase, you can walk through the doors you opened on the cameras and safely escape the mimic. You can then press a button to complete this ending.
I'm thinking a lot about Daft Punk right now. For some reason. I'm just thinking that it could fit that vibe.
Since the mascot suit is empty and the door is wide open. However, as stated earlier, I don't think this ending is canon, since it doesn't have Roxy talking after the credits. It's also worth noting that this ending visually parallels the Burn Trap ending. To unlock the safe spot ending, during the mimic chase, you need to put on the mask in front of the Fredbear cutout. This leads to a bizarre
thinking
scene
of like
that
the
features Sophie
voice
sitting with
filter.
Gregory. I'm not exactly sure what this means, but at least Vanessa's here. For now, that's where the mimic story ends. There's been a lot of speculation about where things will go from here. Some people think that Roxy's post-credits.
I'm thinking of a voice filter that I could go for here. Let me get the microphone here. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Let me see. Will this work? Check, 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 check. No. Check, check. I'm trying to figure out which microphone is which. Check. Check. Check, check. Check, check, check. Check. Ah. All right. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Come on. Wait a minute. Doesn't this... Hold on. I think I know what to do. Dang it. Oh wait, it's off. Hold on. Come on. The microphones aren't working. Because of things. I know basically why. I just don't understand why it's doing this right now. Let me try this again, please. Nope. Nothing. Thank you, Freddie Evans, for the... I smell! What the heck, man? What the heck, bro? How freaking dare you? I don't understand. I'd like for you guys to be able... Here, let me just reopen the project. Get some music going here. Oh my goodness. Check. Check. Flippin' frickin' check. Check. Check, 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 check. This is the theme music to what's going on right now. I guess whenever I record anything, I'll just switch the audio driver. I can live with that. Alright. I think I got it. Okay. So, what the? It's working? Dude, what is happening right now? It's literally working. Okay. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Okay. I don't care about what the audio really sounds like right now on the microphone. I just need to test some things. I'm the monster in the basement. Hide behind the blackbird, writhing in the suit. I'm just saying random things. I just need to test out the filter. I'm the monster in the basement. Yeah, just ignore that. Okay, let me see here. Why are you all rickrolling me in the chat? That's very offensive. How dare you, literally, how dare you? Okay, nectar. I'm the monster. I'm the monster. Okay, let's see here. I'm the monster. I'm the monster in the basement. I'm the... Hide behind the blackbird, writhing in the suit. Just saying random thing. I'm the monster in the basement. I'm the monster in... I'm the monster in the basement. 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 I'm the monster in the base. I'm the monster in the basement. I'm the monster in the basement. I'm the monster in the basement. I'm the... Hide behind the blackbird. I'm just gonna put this in a random key right now. I'm the monster in the basement. 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 I'm the monster in... I'm trying to get this voice right. I'm using Ableton Live 12, I think. Something like that. I'm the monster in the basement. 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 This is so annoying. I'm the monster in the basement. I'm the monster in the basement. I'm the monster in the base. Very useful. I'm the monster in the basement. This product. I'm the monster in the basement. I'm the monster in the basement. There you go. Sounds more like me. But also, well, not. Because it's mimicking me. It's mimicking me. I'm the monster in the basement. I'm the monster in the basement. Still so annoying. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm the monster in the I'm the vocoder on top of that would work for sure. Yeah, I'm thinking that already. I just got to figure out what kind of sound I want to go for. So I'm thinking about Daft Punk right now, like a scary Daft Punk. I don't know. There's something there. There's an idea in my head, and it's just roaming around trying to figure it out. And it's going to be in the perspective of the mimic. Let me just check out some of the discography of Daft Punk real quick, just to get a refresher. Let's try Instant Crush. That's not quite. No, this is too poppy. It's close. No. No. Too happy. There's a lot of happy songs here.
Last night I had a dream about you. In this dream, I'm dancing right beside you, and it looked like everyone was having fun. The kind of feeling I waited so long. Don't stop.
Something about this feels a little bit more liminal than others. I kind of like that sound. So I'm just gonna check some loops out here real quick. Oh my gosh. It's a possible sound. Hmm. I'm checking out samples right now. I like this one. Polo. Okay, let's try something. Let me listen back to this digital love song again.
A little closer as
Okay. Yes, of course, a beat would be ideal. 28. Mm. Change the key. Okay. Ignore the offbeat, we should fix that right now. Ignore the weird sound. Get the tuning right. In the middle of the song, it gets extremely violent. I like that idea. It sounds more like a bridge melody, if anything. What if it went from one key to another? Ignore the popping. That's just gonna happen. It's just the way it is. Where did it go? crap. Where did it go? Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Check. Why did I do that? I'm gonna reopen it real quick. Someone said you could do a segment where the song bounces from ear to ear, like in Empty Pages, because it's so addicting. I like that song. So like the vocal bouncing from ear to ear, possibly. Could work. Oh crap, very similar to Ruin Lullaby. Oh no! Oh no, you're right! Oh no! Kirby, you're so good, thank you. Oh my gosh, no way. Frick. Ruin the Lullaby Part 2. Okay, I think I got a different idea then. I want to go with a similar still to what I was doing. I don't want drum and bass. I hate drum and bass so much. But there's some nice kicks here. Thank you for catching that. Thank you so much. Seriously. Good, nice kicks. There we go. There we go. Mimic is a clown, yes. That's a good point. Oh, hold on, hold on. It's like putting on the Ritz or something, like pop music, pop music. Okay. Pianosaurus, why are you guys saying that? What? What's that great tip? Off key a bit. Hold on. The wheels are turning, guys. The wheels are turning. The wheels are indeed turning. Gotta talk about ice cream or something. Okay. There we go. It's like he's like getting back into key because something like glitched out or something. Just experimenting. No 2024 rewind. You don't get one. I'm sorry. I don't feel like it. Why is it popping and crackling? Goodness gracious. Stop that right Where's my bass? There it is. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. I need to like flatten that out a bit. This is a Mimic song. Hmm. Distortion, yes, of course. Of course, distortion, distortion. Okay. It's falling off a little bit. This is falling off a little bit. This is nice, but it doesn't... I don't know. It's not quite there. Just... Get rid of the base. What? Maybe just overcomplicating it. That sounds a little more foreboding. Okay. Billie Jean. Okay. Might be a good accent. Okay. That's a good bridge. Hold up. Kind of like that. What just happened? The heck was that? Whatever. All right. It's like cool, but maybe it just needs a touch of something. Cool, I ever posted your cousin's TikTok. brain. I got the doctor to the day. And the echoes in your brain. 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 Professor. No. Okay. Hmm. The heck? Weird sounds. Eh. trying to like go for maybe a fashion kind of thing. Like, and another smile, and another smile, and another smile, fashion show. Sick of the mimic. I just don't want to do too many words though. I'm within the depths of your despair. I'm within the depths of your despair. I'm within the depths of your despair. That's wild. Oh. Activate. 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 That sounds kind of good though. Hold on. I'm just like thinking about it heavily right now. Like there's something here. There truly is. Activate. It's like activate. 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 I just want some ice cream. 1979. 1979. 1979. 1979. 1979. I gotta activate. Activate. 1979. I got the 1979. Hamilton song. I'm the one. I'm the one. I'm the one who kills. I'm the one. I'm the one. I'm gonna copycat, copy that. I'm the mimic. Activate. I'm learning. I'm learning. Watch and learn. It's like I'm trying to like progress in some way. Learn. Watch and learn. Learning. I'm learning. I'm learning. Thank you for the cheer, Flacco. I'm learning. I'm learning. Learning to do. I'm the monster in the basement. The eyes is fading. I'm becoming. Activate. Maybe activate. No pretend. You guys are sending some good ideas in the chat, and I thank you. Like one word that like repeats to indicate that this is the thing that is happening. Like this is what he's doing. Like I'm learning, I'm learning, I'm learning. I'm a killer. I'm learning, I'm going to be learning to be. Copy that. Copying. Copycat. Ooh, in my 30s. That's good. I like that. Wow. Okay. I'm learning. I'm a killer. Here to send you a thriller. I'm a killer. You're making me think about the fact that this does sound similar to Let Me In at the Moment. Maybe. Not really. I'm learning. I'm a killer. I'm becoming. I'm becoming. I'm learning. I'm a killer. I'm learning. Actually, I don't want to say I'm a killer yet, because he's learning. Say what you say. I'm gonna take a sound and I'm gonna take your voice, I'm gonna take your... Learning. Say what you say, I'm gonna take your voice to learn my prey. I'm learning. What you say? Copy that. I'm gonna copy that. I'm learning. Say what you say, I'm gonna take your voice just to learn my prey. I'm learning. Say what you say, I'm gonna take your voice just to learn my prey. I'm learning. And what to say, I'm gonna take this. I'm learning. Sounds like a song about generative AI now. I mean, that's basically what this is, isn't it? I'm learning. Okay, what you say? I'm learning. Say what you say. I'm gonna take your voice to learn my prey. I'm learning. Say what you say, I'm gonna take your voice to learn my prey. I'm learning. I'm learning. Say what you say. Say what you say, I'm gonna take your voice to learn my prey. I'm learning. Say what you say, I'm gonna take your voice to learn my prey. Say what you say, I'm gonna take your voice to learn my prey. I'm gonna take your voice to learn my prey. I'm learning. Say what you say, I'm gonna take your voice to learn my prey. I'm learning. It's in my program. I can't but damn. I'm learning. I'm learning. Say what you say, I'm gonna take your voice to learn my prey. Say what you say, I'm gonna take your voice to learn my prey. I'm learning. Say what you say, I'm gonna take your voice to learn my prey. I'm learning. Still learning of the bittersweet ways of being the prey. Observing, I'll use that too. Observing. Whatever's in my program, because whatever's in my it's in my whatever's in my program, anything can happen. Whatever's in my program, I can roll that. Say what you say, I'ma take your voice to learn my prayer. Say what you say, I'ma take your voice to learn my prayer. Say what you say, I'ma take. Say what you say, I'ma take your. Say what you say, I'ma take your voice to learn my prayer. I'm learning. Say what you say, I'll take your voice to learn my. I'ma take your voice to learn my prayer. I'm learning. Whatever's in my program, I got I'm learning. I'm learning, I'm learning. Say what you say, I'ma take your voice to learn my prey. I'm learning. Whatever's in my program, I gotta do damn. I'm learning. Say what you say, I'ma take your voice to learn my prey. I'm learning. Whatever's in my program, back it up to the door to door, then learning. Ignore that. Whatever's in my program, I gotta do it. Whatever's in my program, I gotta. Whatever's in my program, limbs and heads, that's what you. Oh, I like that. Whatever's in my program, gonna have a showdown. Whatever's in my program. This is hard. I'm learning. Programming. Okay, let me see this. Say what you say, I'ma take your voice so you come my way. I'm learning. All I see is red when the lights go, so do your limbs and head observing. Okay, that's sick. Okay. And the lights, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it isn't. I have no idea. I'm learning. Say what you say, I'ma say what you say what you say. I'ma take your voice to learn my prey. I'm learning. Say I'm learning. Say what you say, I'ma take your voice so you come my way. I'm learning. All I see is red. No. I'm learning. Oh, what you say, I'ma take your voice so you come my way. I'm learning. All I see is red when the lights go, so do your limbs and head observing. Observing. That might actually be the observing line, so it'll be the third portion of it. That'll come later. I'm learning. I'm gonna take a voice, say it, let you know. Say what you say, I'm gonna take that voice so you come my way. I'm gonna take your voice so they come my way, I'm learning. So they come my way, I'm learning. Oh, glow is kind. That is really good. I'm learning. That butt is red when the light. Blood is the color red when the lights go, so do you. I'm learning. Blood colored red. They come my way, I'm learning. Blood's colored red when the lights go, so do your limbs and head. Something Ed. I'm learning. Say what you say, I'ma take your voice so they come my way. I'm learning. The crimson red when the lights go, so do your limbs and head observing. That sounds like an FT man. What you say, I'ma take your voice so they come my way. Say what you say, I'ma take your voice so they come my way. I'm learning. Black, crimson, red when the lights go, so do your limbs and head observing. Say what you say, I'ma take your voice so they come my way. I'm learning. Black, crimson, red when the lights go, your limbs and head. When the lights go, so do your limbs and I'm a detective, so they come my way, I'm learning. Black crimson bright when the lights go, so the items and have they repossessed my butter sheet. My bed's up all up on the street. I wish I kept all of my best eat. I could just change the rhythm of it. I'm learning, say what you say, I'ma take your voice so they come my way. I'm learning about hope and driving, about hope and driving. I'ma take your voice so they come my way. I'm learning about hope and driving. The lights go so the your limbs inside. I'm learning. I'm learning. Say what you say. I'ma take your voice so come my way. I'ma take your voice so come my way. Say what you say. I'ma take your voice so come my way. I'ma steal your voice so come my way. Wanna steal your voice so come my way. I'm learning. Say what you say. Wanna steal your voice so come my way. Learning, say what you say, wanna steal your voice, so come my way. I'm learning. I need your voice, so say what you say, I need your voice, so come my. There we go. Say what you say, I need your voice, so come my way. I'm learning. Of hope and drive when the lights go, so do your limbs in time. I'm learning. Learning. Oh, okay, we take my voice and make them. Say what you say, I'ma take your voice, so come my way. There we go. Say what you say, I'ma kick your way. I'm learning. Say what you say, I'ma take your voice, so come my way. I'm learning. I need your voice. I'm learning. Say what you say, I need your voice, so come my way. I'm learning. Of hope and dread when the lights go so do your limbs and head observing fragile hearts of men. I got dirt to bed about it, those too big. I'm learning. I'm learning. Say I need your voice, so come my way. I'm learning. Of hope and dread when the lights go so do your limbs and head observing fragile hearts of men. I got dirt to bed about it, those too big. I'm learning. Say what you say, I need your voice, so come. Say what you say, I need your voice, so come this way. Say what you say, I need your voice. I'm learning. Say what you say, I need your voice, so come this way. I'm learning. Of hope and dread when the lights go, we are limbs. I'm learning. Say what you say, I need your voice, so I need you. I'm learning. Say what you say, I need your voice, so come this way. I'm learning. Of hope and dread, lights go up like your limbs in head observing fragile hearts of man. I'm learning. What the heck, man? Stop doing that. I'm learning. Say what you say, I need your voice. I'm learning. Say what you say, I need your voice, so come this way. I'm learning. Of hope and dread, lights go up like your limbs in head observing fragile hearts of man. I'm learning. Say what you say, I need your voice, so I'm learning. Say what you say, I need your voice, so say what you say, I need your voice, so come this way. I'm learning. say what you say. I need you. Say what you say. I need you. So come this way. I'm learning. I'll say what you say. I need you. So come this way. I'm learning. I'm open to life. I'm learning. Say what you say. I need you. So come this way. I'm learning. I'm open to life. Go up like your limbs and head. Observe. So come this way. I'm learning. I'm open to life. Go up like your limbs and head. So come this way. I'm learning. I'm open to life. Go up like your limbs and head. So come this way. I'm learning. I'm hoping. So come this way. I'm learning. I'm hoping. Dread lights go up like your limbs and head. Lights go up like your limbs and head. I'm hoping. So come this way. I'm learning. I'm hoping. Dread lights go up like your limbs and head. Observing. So come this way. I'm learning. I'm hoping. Dread. You will not talk to me. Fudge. You know when you work on a project for like a super long time, then you realize how much it sounds like a previous song that you already released? This sounds like Let Me In. And I cannot, in confidence, continue working on this particular project. This specific one, I mean. It's like barely noticeable. I guess it is noticeable though. I think it needs another pass. It needs another pass. This happens, okay? You know, I can't make a song perfectly every time. Like, that's just not possible. Especially with something like this. This is like really complicated, it seems. And I gotta be smart about stuff. Sheesh. That's how it goes, though. It's just how it goes. That's okay. I'm not upset about it. I did just spend 2 hours on that, and I'm getting back into it again, and it's kind of rough when you leave something behind like that. It's just like, it also is just too basic. Like, I'd really like to see if I could do something a little bit more complicated than that. But also really catchy and like simple to sing along to. There's always something I can do. There's always something. You know, things can just grab my attention like, whoa, that's it. I've definitely had circumstances like this before. That is for sure. I'm gonna check out some samples I downloaded. Haha. Mechanical. Okay, something's happening. Okay. was an accident. Oh, freaking K. I love like throwing in things that just don't fit but also fit. Okay, this is really happening now. Oh gosh. I'm like in my own little world right now. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Let's sleep well. Let's flipping go. Let's flipping go. Oh my gosh. Oh, disgusting. In a good way. Ooh, that's a good idea, actually. You gave me a good idea.
Stop! Just stop! Are you a stream?
Yes. Oh my gosh. She's fine. Okay. We're at like a really good start now. And I'm just gonna take this and roll with it for a sec. Because... Ooh, save me from the torment. Well, I mean, it's about the Mimic. This is the Mimic's perspective. But we're on good track for a Mimic song. And this beat could work. I just need to sit on it for a little bit, because if I spend too long on this, then my wife will get upset at me. Rightfully so, because I spent a little bit too much time on stream. Not expected as much time as I did. So she wants to watch some stuff. I like watching things with her. But yeah, we're on a roll here. Maybe we're not. We'll see about it. We'll see if this is a failure or not. But it's gonna take some time. I'm just gonna sit on it for a little bit. So, let's just see where this takes us. I have a lot to do. Not just this, but something else, that's for sure. Minecraft song on May 9th. See ya!